2012 NFL Draft is just days away. We're just days away from the Baltimore Ravens selecting future prospects for this franchise. Me, thousands of other countless people have made predictions on what the Wizard Ozzie Newsome will do, one of the best GMs in football. But all we can do is predict and hope, because what he's going to do is not just based on need, it's based on the best player at that pick. He's not afraid to trade back, trade up, or more. What he's got to do. He's a great GM. I made 3 mock drafts already, going in every different direction. But this is the final one. So if you're ready, I'm ready. Let's put the Ravens on the clock one last time.
See tomorrow's stars today. Our experts give their take on every selection. The NFL Draft, live in primetime, begins Thursday, April 26th at 8 on ESPN.
In the 2012 NFL Draft, the Baltimore Ravens have a lot of options, directions they could go in. You look at the biggest need, offensive line. The best available? Well, the first name that comes to mind is Peter Collins, the center from Wisconsin. Somebody who could play guard for a little bit and then transition to center when Matt Burke finally retires. Somebody who would do well learning from this team, and somebody that Ozzie kind of likes. But in my opinion, there's some guys out there underestimated later in the rounds that you could spend a pick on. Doesn't have to be the first pick in the draft. And of course, a lot of medical red flags, and that really stands out to me. So definitely, if you want to take a look at him, he's not a bad option, but I'm a little iffy about him right now. I think he's too hyped up, because he is really the best center in the draft, and that hype is just added to, it's not going to be the the best guy on your football team. Somebody like Kevin Zeter, who plays offensive guard. We lost Ben Groves. We need somebody who can anchor that offensive guard position at that line. I think Kevin Zeter is somebody that I kind of like better than Peter Collins, but again, he's got some flags on him. Later in the second round, there's a guy by the name of Kaleka Osmali from Iowa State. I love this guy, underestimated. He plays with just crazy attitude. Very rare combination of size, speed, strength. He uses that big body to anchor the offensive line, to anchor his frame, taking on double threats at sometimes. Has trouble with the smaller defenders, but he matches up well against these big guys. He's hardly ever flustered by the bull rush. Somebody who is a bulldozer, a freight train at run blocking, I think he would be a great selection at pick number, or in the second round, I should say. But then, the center, then that could be something that you might worry about later down the road. You look at something else at offense. You look at wide receiver. Wide receiver is not the top position that we need, and the Ravens have never really been great at drafting wide receivers, but there's a couple guys that come to mind. Of course, Stephen Hill from Georgia Tech, somebody that would just tremendously transform this wide receiver core. You pair him up with Anquan Boldin, Torrey Smith, learn from Flacco, this veteran offense. I'm telling you, it would just be amazing. Ultimately amazing, that would be the outcome. Somebody who's got tremendous speed, the explosiveness, can reach up, grab the ball, versatility, flexibility, going to play for the extra yardage. Had 30 yards per catch or something after the catch last year. I mean, just tremendous football player. Some people have criticized, can he do the same thing in the NFL as he did in college? I say yes. A lot of other people say yes. He is, in my opinion, a gem that you would be getting. Just a tremendously fast speed demon. Baltimore, pair him up with offense, there's no doubt. If he's there, Ozzie will take him. No doubt. Top guy comes to my mind. Not the top position, but the top guy comes to my mind, the best in his position, the best available. You look at somebody later down the road. Now, I've heard people say Kendall Wright. I do not think Kendall Wright, he's got speed. Dude's got something. Dude can play, but I don't think he's going to be available. If he is, somebody you could look at. Look at somebody like Alshon Jeffries. Doesn't really have the speed, but he's got incredible hands. And as you know, Baltimore's always had that problem with receivers dropping the balls. It happens, but it's the wrong moments. Patriots game, in Foxborough, and Patriots game during the championship, and against the Texans, and we've seen the Steelers. So, incredible hands on the kid. It's like he's got spikes in his hands, grabbing the ball, making some amazing catches. Ruben Randall, somebody you might want to take a look at. My guy that I've liked for a while is T.Y. Hilton from Florida International, later 4th, 5th round kind of guy. Tommy Streeter, very underestimated, loves to play that special teams, could be that third receiver that you're looking for. Somebody that doesn't have to play all the time, but he could really make a difference on the team. Kind of got that Brandon Marshall feel to himself. again, there's a lot of receivers out there, but like Stephen Hill right now, I think is the guy that they're going to be taking a look at. I've heard Brian Quick. Again, somebody I like him, not tremendously, but he's pretty cool. So right now, I think that's Stephen Hill, if he's available, Ravens take him. You move on over safety. I think can be addressed later. Harrison's not going to be there, and if he is, I don't think Baltimore takes a look at him, but you never know. Again, Ozzie does draft it based on the best, not the needs. Mark Barron will be gone. You just forget Mark Barron. He's going to be gone. You go over defense. Somebody that I like is Chandler Jones, the brother of Arthur Jones from Syracuse. Kind of got that hybrid Jared Johnson feel for me. He loves to get after the quarterback, loves to get out there and play. He plays with attitude, but he's like a little kid at a candy shop, loving to get to the football. That hybrid type feel to him. He's got some speed. He's got some physicality to him, athletic. I like him, and if he's there, Baltimore should take a look at him. I've heard another guy, Whitney Mercilus, somebody again who's got that kind of got to get to the ball feeling. Somebody's going to make those moves to get around, to get to the quarterback, or wrap the run game up when he can. I don't think he's available, but if he is, definitely Baltimore takes a look at him. Courtney Upshaw, don't think he's going to be available, but he's somebody that plays like a Pittsburgh Steelers linebacker. He's going to come at you hard, he's going to come at you fast, and he's going to come at you like a freight train, and you're on the ground. And he's going to shut that run game down, too. Again. We're not really going to talk about Vontaze Burfict at this time. I mean, that's later. But then here's the guy that everybody seems to like. The new, maybe, heir to Ray Lewis. That man is Dante Hightower, Alabama, the Crimson Tide. Ozzie's home. There is no doubt in my mind if this guy falls to 20 or 21, or even maybe a little bit, maybe 19, that Ozzie feels threatened, somebody could pick him up. The Steelers are right there, ready to get him. They want him. That Ozzie jumps in front to get him. Because this guy can play his ass off. Talented football player. And I think he can make an impact right away. This is somebody who has a year to learn. Just say Ray does retire next year, a year to learn from one of the best, if not the best linebacker in the game. To learn from people like Terrell Suggs. To learn from this, Haloti Ngata, this great Baltimore defense. Then put him on the field. Can you imagine what you'd be getting out of Dante Hightower? Absolutely. I mean, I don't even want to go into the highlights and just what he can do. We know what he can do. This is somebody who's going to try to get over the offensive line, around the offensive line. He's going to try to get to the quarterback, wrap the run game up. Some people say he's got problems dropping back. This is something he can improve on. Just a crazy combination of that size, again, that speed, that athleticism. He's a hard worker. He's a leader on the field. I love him. At every position. So definitely I think that Dante Hightower, Stephen Hill, two of the football players that Baltimore would not mind having, that I love, and I think that Ozzie would definitely take a look at. But again, offensive line is the biggest need. So if Peter Collins is there, if Kevin Zeitler's there in the first round, Baltimore likes him, they're going to take him. I don't think safety is going to be in the first round. You never know. Again, Whitney Mercilus, somebody like Chandler Jones, definitely Baltimore would take a look at them. Especially Chandler Jones. I mean, he's the brother of Arthur Jones, and not to mention he can play his ass also. Why wouldn't you? You look at later in the rounds. You look at, running back. Baltimore needs, they might need that secondary running back. They need special teams. And somebody comes to mind to me, which I had in my last mock draft, was Chris Rainey from Florida. This guy takes tremendous pride in playing on special teams. Tremendous pride on special teams. Can run his ass off. Somebody that's not an ever down back, but somebody you can put in those tight situations. And by the time he blows past the defenders, they're looking, where'd he go? And he's already in the end zone, in the red zone, getting the yards. He's a kind of a speed demon, if you want to say that. He's elusive. He's got some pretty good moves on him. And this is somebody who can just really help the special teams, with Baltimore's lacking for quite some time here. Baltimore needs that special return kind of guy, and this guy would definitely, Chris Rainey, no doubt about it. He could go a lot earlier in the draft. Later in the rounds, again, there's other positions that Baltimore could take a look at. Really, the one guy that stands out to me this entire draft has been T.Y. Hilton. He can play special teams. He can play wide receiver. He's fast as hell. Can catch the ball. But all said and done, Baltimore, in the first round, pick 29, they're going to move up. They're going to take Dante Hightower out of Alabama. In the second round, Baltimore takes Kaleka Ozumale, the offensive guard from Iowa State. In the third round, Baltimore takes Chris Rainey, the running back out of Florida. And in the fourth round, they turn around and get